In honor of Boston, I'm wearing a crocheted little number and a tank top.
Yeah. Me too.
When we go to Thailand, this is what I'll wear.
Fuck yeah.
The first like full.
Fuck yeah.
This show messed you up, clearly.
Yeah. You know what it made me feel? We're talking about OnlyFriends, girls.
Oh, they know. These girlies have been waiting.
I've never felt the oldest I've ever felt than watching this show.
Oh, because I couldn't.
Like drinking till the fucking...
Well, you can't drink.
Well, I can't drink any... Oh, girls.
Grandpa has gout.
Grandpa has gout. We've joked about gout, but now it is diagnosed.
She's a fish. She's a Facebook official.
She is official. Should I just
How does that make you feel?
Should I just start getting high?
Every day I wake up and I ask myself, WWBD, what would Boston do?
Girl, you just met this man, okay?
Oh, but did I? In the way that like...
But you've always known.
I've always known Boston. But there are many Bostons in the world. Let's say that.
Well, we'll talk about it. You were, we all had a little bit of Boston, but I think we weren't as pick-uppy as it was in the bar.
No, because this show doesn't really engage with like hookup app culture.
Which pretty much was like
my entire college experience.
Exactly. It was already established by the time we were.
I had should I say this?
Let's just say
my goal was to get one person on every stop on the red line.
And
I had the north side down, honey.
You had, yeah. And
the point is back in our youths.
We were a Boston.
We have only seen one episode. I would not say I was a total Boston. I mean, I really identify with top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm top tier. I'm super dom.
Yeah, I'm giving gorge. I'm giving stuntralina.
Gorge dom.
I actually don't. I mean,
which there girls, there are femme doms. Okay,
and say that and slay that. Okay. I would say I probably most identify with Mew because he was the most like normal. Maybe Nick, honestly, actually, is who I most identify with.
He's
making risks. He's taking risks at work.
He's taking risks at work, and you know what?
And you know what? That's all that needs to be said. When you are told your whole life that who you are is a sin, basically, or like immoral,
it becomes part of your thing.
Then it's like, then just like anything, like maybe all immoral acts are not actually immoral.
Yeah. So you're just like,
you start to question like the legitimacy of like who decides what morality
what's right or wrong.
Is, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I would always say that for me, it's like, as long as I think I'm prescribed more to the golden rule. If you don't harm anyone else, go at it,
slay that.
Slay queen. Mm-hmm. I don't even know where the fuck to start. This is our first Thai BL in BL Boys Love lore.
These are the longest episodes we've done so far.
The ship names are still new to us. Okay, girls.
We know forcebook.
And Adam could not get over the fact that Force and Book were like friends in high school. Adam was not doing well.
I mean, they're shooting our wedding photography moments. I was like getting like, I was like too anxious.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how
two people who like their families know each other. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then be like, oh yeah, they make out for a living.
And baby
they're pretty good at their jobs.
First episode.
They're pretty good.
Let's start this girl. Okay. What did you heading into this before we start? What do you know about OnlyFriends? What's your relationship to OnlyFriends?
The only thing that I knew about OnlyFriends is that there was fucking. It was already giving me like Queer as Folk vibes of like, okay, it looks like they're a group of friends just like dealing and dealing like what it means to be like gay in their prime.
This is not a rom-com.
No. Mm-mm. So I was like, okay, that's what it's giving. And then I have lusted for Force for months.
Yeah. When did it start? You just started seeing him?
I just started seeing him.
Looked him up?
He just popped up and he was like, who's that? And then everyone's like, girl, that's Force. And I was like, girl.
What a name, too.
Yeah.
We love Thai names.
He can force it.
Okay. So my understanding of the show was, I think the same that it is. Just appeared. All the girlies were talking about it.
All the girlies.
All the girlies are still talking about it.
Yeah.
To the point that I have to like scroll through my Twitter on like Friday, Saturdays.
I muted the words onlyfriends.
Wow.
And the hashtag.
Yeah.
Feels like the L word where they're just you're just figuring out and see how people.
Community.
Yeah.
Family.
Found families.
Found family. Wow. I'm going to give you a rundown of what the idea is. So they start the show and they're like, everybody.
It's Cheers.
Everybody is like a stock type in my friend group. Mm-hmm. And when we go out to the bar, these are the roles that we play. Mm-hmm. I love this setup. I think that's really cool. Really cute.
With the title cards too and everything.
Yeah. So in the friend group, you have, I'm going to say Choom. So Choom is the girl. That's her, what some might call the hag of the group. Okay.
Because it's not even like maybe
they're a group of three gay men.
They are 3 gay men.
Yeah. And they all want to be like interior designers or whatever.
I know. She's so pretty. Her title was The Dancer because she's the one that's like, I just want to dance.
She's a woo girl. Another friend in this friend group is Ray. And Ray is the drunkard. This sloppy girly.
Yes. Slopperina.
Slopperina, but also rich. Rich, anybody
but also
rich.
Rich, anybody rich.
Yeah. So then you have Boston, who I wrote is the dirty dog of the group. Just like horny. Just like constantly horny. Yeah. And like clearly like his first scene is like hitting on a guy who's in a relationship. And trying like, to be like, it's fine, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's not here.
So it's very clearly like set up that like an ethically dubious character.
Yes.
And that's real.
And that is real.
And you can all sit there, because I'm ready to defend Boston right now.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of Boston
defenders. You can sit there and be like, well, I wouldn't even have him as a friend. But like,
you really would have a Boston as a friend.
Look at your friend group and be like,
look at your friends. Who is the Boston?
Not even who is Boston, right? Because Boston is like an outlier. I do think he's like extra bad.
Yes, yeah.
But you have friends that you know when you think to yourself and you're honest with your heart that you say, they're not the best person in the world. They're not solving world hunger. They're not
solving world hunger.
They are
choosing the chaotic option every single time.
Yes. That's really what it is.
That's really what it is.
It's a chaos. He's a
chaos twink.
Okay. God. Then the last character in this friend group is Mew. And Mew is the princess. Mew is the virgin. Mew is the straight-laced, I'm saving myself till married. What are you saving yourself for?
So the virgin thing, very queer as folk L word. Because there's always like the ingenue virginal character. Because in L word, there was a girl who was like, she was the straight one.
We just watched Cherry Magic.
No, but I mean in these like ensemble queer friendship type
I'm saying, shows. I think this is a standard stock trope anyway, outside of... It's the audience surrogate, right?
Yes,
the person who
they're the ones who gets absorbed in the world.
Yeah. There's also some other characters.
Yes. Yo, who runs the bar.
Who runs the bar. Okay. We don't know enough about them yet. Sand is the guitar player, singer at the bar.
Singer, songwriter. He's booked, he's blessed.
Very. Ty BL's.
Oh yeah, you gotta get someone
Ty BL's and they're a singer. They love to sing.
It's part of the contract.
And you know what? We all like to giggle about how bad they are, right? Because it's, there's a breadth of talent in terms of what's going on there.
Yeah.
but it does make it feel more real because the guy at the like rinky-dink bar in your town who's
he's
singing,
not like the best singer.
He's not cutting records, honey.
No.
So there's something.
He's a worker's man's idol.
Yes.
Salt of the earth.
16 tons. What do you get? Yeah. We stand with workers' rights. Labor. Yeah. Stand. And then, okay, there's a character named Nick.
There's a character named Nick.
Which I'll just say now, but he works at.
He's a shop owner. Works at a cell phone repair store.
We stand with workers.
We stand with workers. Workers' rights, who Boston meets in this episode.
At a cell phone repair store. Mm-hmm. You break, I fix.
In a you break, I fix.
For sure.
You break, I fix.
You break, I fix.
Because it's one word.
And
then Top.
And
his name is Top. His title card is he's top tier. So he's like chaebol. He's like young and rich, tall and handsome.
Can I say this about Force? Everyone in the show is so attractive.
Yeah. Does he feel like he's
actually crazy that he is like, he makes other people in the scenes he's with look homely.
Because he is like insane. So here's the thing from what I found out about Force. He was not this jacked. This was like more of a recent development. When he first started, he was giving more like golden retriever-y, puppy, like that energy that I think matched a little bit more with Book. From what people have told me on Twitter.
Okay.
And then like the whole
cite your sources. Yeah.
And then the whole going to the gym, posting gym selfies, his BFF's gym buddies with Ompawat, like that for a lot of people is also like, oh, Force. It's a movement.
His body is insane, and I think we can sexualize him and say that. Okay,
I think that's fine.
Apart from that, his face is so symmetrically perfect and pretty.
I know
that I'm like,
which is so crazy because I don't usually go for the like symmetrically beautiful like.
Yeah.
Kim Seok-jin's face.
Sure, yeah.
Like that symmetry.
The like the ideal.
Like I can be like, "Oh my god, they're so attractive," but they're not like usually my biases.
Yeah, you married me. I mean, people see it. It's fine. We can say it. He's like a god.
I know. That's what it feels. I mean, obviously this character is also written in that way.
Totally.
They package it in that way.
Totally.
He always looks like he's looking down at someone.
Yeah. And
they always shoot him from under.
You could, if you had just shown me like the first 10 minutes of the show, you could have been like, this is an Omegaverse show, and I would have believed you. And that's all I'm going to say. Because this is the most alpha energy I've probably ever seen in a BL.
Yeah.
Here's the plot. Here's the plot of this first episode. Everybody's fucking. And also, they are in school together. We're going to say they're in graduate school. We're going to give them a benefit of the doubt and say that this project is for a graduate program.
Yeah.
Because I don't see this happening in an undergrad situation where you purchase a home and turn it into an Airbnb. This is wild.
Yeah.
But this is the project. Ray's dad is so rich that they purchase a house. They're going to turn it into blah, blah. In order to achieve this goal, Boston has brought in
Top,
who is a contractor,
interior designer.
What are the details are murky, but it's okay. I'm not here for
interior
details.
Architect, maybe not necessarily designer.
I'm not here for details.
No, I think it is designer because Boston says the word designer.
But then what are they doing?
They're managing the Airbnb.
They're just managing it.
They have to like manage it. Yes. And run it. So like they're doing the marketing. They're doing logistics.
Right. She's PR. Chum is PR.
Yes. Because Chum is PR. Boston's got a little camera.
Fine. Whatever. Speaking of Boston, that's the basic plot.
That's the basic plot.
This is how everybody gets involved. Okay. Boston's broken his phone. So Boston has to get his phone fixed. So he goes to the phone repair store. And this little twink is behind the counter. Nick is so attractive. He's so cute.
Yeah.
And immediately you can cut the tension with a knife.
They are truly just like, literally like, I'll be sure to come back when my phone needs to be fixed. I'll be sure to take care of this phone.
I love working on
devices.
Yeah.
Yeah. The up down is iconic. The up down is so good because it's just right at the end. It's as if he's like, if you didn't catch on to anything that I was trying to put down, fucking you with my eyes.
This amount
right
of
now.
confidence from Boston is insanity.
It's insane.
And let me say this, going back to the Omegaverse. Boston's a beta who wants to be an alpha.
It's too much. It's a lot of performance.
Because there's a scene later in the bathroom with Top that's very like...
he's put in place.
What's going on?
What's going on?
Top is going to work on the like Airbnb.
But he's taken a liking to that virgin.
They all go out to go get drunk because they're going to celebrate. They're like going to work on this project together. Everybody gets drunk. This is a recurring theme on the show. I have a feeling it's going to be in every episode. Literally, I'm going to say honestly, purely based on the neon lights font of the show. They're going to be drunk. Something
about neon on the marketing just exudes alcohol.
Give me that noble gas, honey. Neon. It's so stupid. Shout out to the periodic table of elements, honey. You are that girl. Top goes up to
the Virgin.
Boston.
Oh.
And is like,
oh yeah. Hey, tell me more about that.
Set me up with this little twink.
Yeah.
And like Twinkie, honey.
Not just in stature.
Although yes. Yeah.
In personality, in appearance, in expression.
Yeah, in vibe.
In vibe.
Yeah.
And Boston's like, I don't think you want him. He's a virgin. He says it.
He says he's a virgin.
He says he's a virgin.
And of course, that's only going to make Top be like...
Of course, your alpha is just going to eat that up.
Here's the thing.
Like, what
we as a culture have to move on from like
purity.
Procuring the virgin.
Yeah.
Who cares?
A
hymen can break for any reason. And I'm going to say that.
Peloton.
Guess who got fucking wasted? And then he's like, I'm going to drive myself home.
The thing that frustrated me is that they were saying how rich he was. Just take a damn Uber.
If you don't call a cab, and so Sand, who they had previously had a little altercation at the bar at the beginning of the show.
Because Sand went to use the bathroom, and Miss Ray was draped all over the toilet. And he was like, you're being a burden to everyone. Society.
This is a line in the show.
You're a burden to a society because you're just a fucking lush, and you're just...
And you're like, what, 22? Like, it's tough when... Okay, I'm going to say this. It's rough to see people struggle with alcohol abuse and addiction.
At such a young age.
But at such a young age, it actually is like a real bummer. And it is played a little bit for comedy.
At the beginning.
And I think stuff like this always is, right? Because that's, I think, how even in real life, how people who really haven't...
Frame it.
Yeah, or haven't seen it affect them in their personal lives in that way. It is funny until it's not funny, and then it's like, it's actually really serious. So I'm curious if that's the direction the show is going to like take this character's journey on as well.
By the looks of it, I think so, because...
So he tries to drive home, and Sand is like, what the fuck are you doing?
You're fucking insane.
You're not driving home.
So he drives his car to his apartment. To Sand's apartment, and they makes him stay the night. They do this thing where Ray almost throws up again, or he does on his toilet, and then like they just sit on the bathroom floor. He like leans on him, and there's like a little twinkle in his eye, sand.
Yeah.
That's like, oh God. You could tell that he's like, why am I doing this? But then like, I don't know. There's something about like, either he thinks he's cute, which obviously I think it's what it is.
There's not a straight man on the show yet.
Or it's like, something is compelling him to want to keep taking care of him.
Yeah. Do you think it's that? I mean, we don't really know, right? Because we don't really get a ton about these two in this episode.
I think right now it's just truly like the enemies to lovers thing of like they've been nagging. And this is his first time showing like a really sweet side. Because he was like cuddling with him.
Cuddles with him, yeah.
And I think he's like, ugh, shit.
Mew has invited Top home with him. Okay.
So, yes, Top was like, he says, I don't actually have a headache. That was his excuse to go to his apartment.
Yeah,
and
to get a glass of water.
Girl. Whatever. And Mew was like, I know. And so Top was like, well, so then do you know what people usually do at this time? And Mew's like, I do. And they start making out. They take their clothes off. They start making out. He is kissing his high school best friend.
Stop.
His body.
He kisses down his chest. And Mew freaks out and pushes him off and is like, actually, I'm a virgin.
I'm not ready. Yeah,
I'm not ready to do this.
And then he says, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Which I think Force tries, it's towing the line, right? Of this, like, he's saying no.
Yeah.
But Force is like, but everything you've done today is showing that you do want this. So if you're just scared, it's okay. And he tries to go in again, and then that's when he was like, no, I really don't think I'm ready. I want to get to know the person more.
Correct.
He says you don't have to get to know a person if it's just sex. Which is true.
Fair enough.
But Mew is like,
not for me.
Not for me. Thanks. Yeah. So if you want to stay.
I'm a different kind of girl.
Yeah. I'm not like most girls. So
I'm not like... That's very... I mean, I will say Mew definitely has I'm not like most girls' energy.
Yeah. So he was like...
Which is a little exhausting.
So he was like, if that's okay, like you can stay. We can just get to know each other. And Force is like, okay, then what do you want to do?
And Mew pulls an RJ.
I want to eat ice cream.
Yeah. So this is what I'm calling hookup number 1 on the show. So we're going to keep track of the hookups.
Mm-hmm. Should we have a counter?
We're going to have a counter. Boing. Here, boing. There's hookup number 1. I can't move on from this hookup real quick.
Top and Mew.
Which
he will be soon, I hope.
He's going to... Listen, Mew will be topped. That's all I'm going to say. I may not be a clairvoyant, but I can see the future, honey. And honestly, good for everyone involved. Just like a wonderful piece of cinema is this makeout scene. It is so wild to go from cherry magic to this. Cherry Magic, a show in which in the movie they never kissed.
To this where he is kissing.
There are 3 hookups touching. In this episode.
Yeah.
I'm literally about to pass out watching the show.
I think what we should do, we do it tournament style at the end. What was
at the end of the show or
at the end of the show?
Okay.
What was the best?
Was the best hookup?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Olympics. OnlyFriends Olympics.
Boston is like
everyone fucking left.
Boston is he is a quick
and is
worker.
Got no phone. He is really just like on his own.
Yeah. And it wouldn't work for me. I need collateral. Let's say that.
Yeah.
But Neo is a beautiful person who does not need that and has an air of confidence that would work on me. Let's say that. He runs into Drake Does Drake even have a character name?
I don't know if Drake has a character name. I don't even know who appears. Yeah, he was like, do you want to... Basically, like, do you want to hang out? Me? Yeah. Yes, do you want to come home with me? And then Boston says, well, I want to keep drinking. And he's like, well, you can drink at my place.
I've got something you can drink. Yeah. So Boston and Drake go home. Drake, who is friends with
Adam. Ever since we watched this scene of Drake and the actor Drake, because I don't know his character name, and Neo.
Sorry, not
Drake.
Not Drake.
Ever since I watched the scene of Drake and Neo hook up in the show, I have not stopped thinking about how Drake is best friends with Min, our beloved Min from Boys Planet. Besties.
The world
Best
is
friends.
So small. I truly, it does feel like the world is
tiny.
There's 12 people in the world.
Because it was
and I know everybody.
It's truly like Min had no social media, and then all of a sudden, after he left Wake One, opened social media and was just like, meet my best friend Drake. And we were like, that's fucking eyebrows from
Bad Buddy.
And Bad Buddy didn't really get it because the character was super annoying.
The character was annoying. And like, by the end of the show, I liked his character.
Yes, by the end, totally. Like he becomes like a great friend to everyone.
Yeah.
And then these GMM boys.
Where are they? They are factory created.
Something happened, I think, after Bad Buddy, and they became like sensations, and everyone just started getting jacked.
That we need to. I want to say, on one hand, I want to say we have to close the gyms. For my sanity, we must close the gyms. But I'm also, let's keep the gyms open a little longer.
Maybe we subsidize gyms.
Yeah, maybe it's a 24-hour fitness.
Yes,
any time of day.
So it's just a lot of possible scenarios in my mind.
This hookup
that I can't divulge in.
This hookup in the show. There is a plot element to it.
There is a plot element because Nick finally opens his phone and then
goes through his photos
because he was so attracted to him.
This is my biggest fear when I take my phone to Apple.
Yeah.
I'm like, please don't look through.
Yes. Well, but
mostly because it's like
back then it was because
hundreds of photos of K-pop
literally, that's the thing. Back in the day, it was hundreds of photos of just asses.
Sure.
And now it's hundreds of photos of
name them.
Name an idol.
Name an idol.
There's
a picture on my phone. Embarrassing.
So it is paralleling cinematically in a gorgeous cinematic parallel. That while
is paralleling cinematically in a gorgeous cinematic parallel.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That while Drake is getting dicked down, let's say by Boston, like full missionary knees up. This is on YouTube, so I can say
that's the craziest part of this.
It's fully on YouTube. While that is happening, Nick is enjoying Boston's pictures
solo. Yeah. This, I would say, is like the most like we probably didn't need. I mean, we get it.
This was clearly like, okay, I mean, like, obviously Drake was only in here so that this could happen.
Yeah.
No one's complaining.
No.
But it also felt like, let's put this in the first episode, obviously, to get the girls.
Yeah. Gag the girls.
To like really show that like, this is their story. They are both
well, it also does a really good job of being like, Boston will just, whoever's available. There's no Boston doesn't have a type.
No.
Boston has just a sex drive. This is why the conversation that like happens, I feel like more nowadays of being like, we don't need sex scenes in media.
Yeah.
I think is like kind of exhausting because you refuse to engage with subtext.
Yes. People refusing to be like, well, I just don't want to see it. But it's like, no, there's still reasons as to why people do it. And that's more important to know, like, what drives a character.
The sex scene in House of Gucci, where she's like bouncing
off
Slow
of this
it
trailer.
Down, make it bouncy, right? Okay, that's Gaga's whole thing in that scene.
No subtext. Zero
No,
subtext.
I refuse. I disagree. she is like doing a performance. And like as you, it like ties into the rest of the
Yes, she wanted everyone to know in that company that her husband, who everyone thought was like a loser, because he was like being forced to work in this like very like masculine job, is like super masculine. Oh, you're right. Yeah. I don't think every piece of media ever is perfect and but there's always intent. I understand that there is. Or I would want to believe that there's always like artistic intent or like in the story. Yeah.
It's the whole thing about being gay is that it's like based on sexuality and sex acts. Yeah. And like, while I think in order to make the fight for rights more palatable, we've reframed it as being like, it's about love. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's not about love. That's why we are able to like go have sex with 100 people at a bathhouse and then be like, and then I went to work the next morning and I closed the Johnson account and da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Because it is about sex.
Yeah.
Even though people would, of course, love it to be about like beauty and love and blah, blah, blah. Right. Which is why we have The Matrix where we talk about, is it like more queer? Is it, I mean, their show is queer. But is it more queer? Is it more like
hetero forward?
And both are fine. Both can exist. Like they're like we are in a like allegedly loving marriage. And like that, I mean, that would be like our story would, I feel like, be on the hetero side of like, if we were to make our thing a BL, we're very domestic.
I'm very intrigued by how this show is communicating through sex within the story, within the plot, like literally moving the plot forward with it and like the characters.
Because even with this scene, obviously the Nick thing is the more interesting part and plot driven. But like, I feel like I'm learning a lot about Boston by being like, oh, I mean, it's interesting that he tops.
That was interesting, wasn't it?
It's interesting that he tops. Because I will say the vibe...
His vibe is Chaos Twink. So you just assume like...
Interesting that he tops. Mm-hmm. Interesting that he does not fear repercussions or consequences.
Yes.
That is not a thought in his mind.
Yeah, it's just very interesting. I'm hooked with this little story. So
Force, nope. Top and Mew are enjoying ice cream. We get a Station of the Cross. Let's celebrate
the wiping of the mouth.
The wiping of the mouth. We love to see it.
The way that we see tongue and mouths first before we see the wiping of the mouth.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to create a whole new system of stations for Thai BLs.
Yeah, they have their own stations.
Yeah.
Truly.
The sucking... Sorry. The sucking of the cock.
The sucking of the cock.
They like go to bed together and it's just to cuddle.
And Force, and Top is like, can I at least cuddle? Adam.
And that's how you do it, girls. And that's how you win over a man. I can say that from experience. I married a man because I cuddled him enough. Pew, pew. Ray wakes up the next morning in Sand's house.
He's like, where the fuck am I?
And he's like, I don't know where the fuck I am.
You try to one-up me? You trying to fuck me? And Sam's like,
he blacked out to the point that he doesn't remember coming home.
Doesn't remember changing.
Immediately thinks that Sam
stole his shit.
Took advantage of him. And
I do love Sans being like, I made sure you didn't die, so get the fuck out of my house. I love that he kicked him out of his house.
Oh yeah.
I loved it so much.
And then he has the bit where he's like, everything I own is actually really expensive, so I know you would want to take it. Maybe I do like Ray.
Oh, okay.
He's a brat.
But that behavior...
My Rolex is really expensive, and I'm not wearing it currently, so where did you put it?
Yeah.
Girl, if you don't shut the fuck
up. You want to brag? Pay my bills.
But here's the thing, and learn this. Mm-hmm. This is how the rich stay rich, is they are fucking cheap. They are cheap skates. Yeah. They don't want to pay for anything. The way that rich people get discounts is wild, guys. It's so crazy. I did not know.
Yeah.
Like, if you own a home, let's say, and it is a very luxury property, in order to get that listing,
you get a discount.
The listing agent will be like, oh, I'll lower my commission rate for you. But like, if you're the regular person with a $200,000 house, guess what?
Saved up all your life to buy a house.
They're not lowering that discount rate for you, honey. They're not lowering that commission rate for you, girl.
Don't be a douche. If you're rich, don't be a douche.
Boston goes to pick up his phone. It's fixed. His phone is fixed.
His phone is fixed. And Nick has been like, well, you know, I love being of service. So if the phone ever breaks, you can always come back because there's a warranty. And so he's like, okay, he scanned my little barcode to pay and then was like, actually, I need to see that receipt. Just so he could see Boston open his phone. Because when he does, he sees...
Nick took some photos.
Nick took photos for him.
And because it's on YouTube, it's just shirtless photos.
It's just
but
shirtless.
I'm going to tell you right
now...
now...
I'm going to tell you right now...
Real life, we all know.
We all know.
No one's
the
dumb.
pictures.
This is so crazy. This would get, I mean, like, you would lose your job. Like, this is like,
this
is almost why they're perfect for each other, because they are not thinking about the consequences.
They are both
actions.
like, this is their whole thing. That they're reckless. They're not thinking about consequences. They are just doing what they want to do.
This stresses me out.
Yeah. As two
old dragons
who follow rules, unfortunately.
I love a rule, babe.
I love
a rule. Catch me driving the speed limit in the city of Chicago.
I know you do.
And it drives RJ up a wall.
I know.
And you know what?
We're safe.
Guess who's not hitting the pedestrians? Me. That's who.
Yeah, and so Boston is like, basically like, well then,
let's go. Here we go.
Close the damn doors. Close these damn lights. And they start making out in the back. Nick turns off the lights and they just like start
He
making
reaches
out.
in.
He reaches and grabs
whatever he finds in there.
Down there.
Yeah. And that's where that ends. So that's hookup number 3. We have 3 hookups in this first episode.
Yep. Top's getting to know
and Mew is like, I'm just not your average girl.
Yes, like truly.
This is the most like,
it's
I'm
giving,
just, like, I mean,
other girls. It's giving, yeah, like, hey.
Pick me.
Yeah.
I like Mew. I shouldn't say this like I dislike Mew. I do like Mew. But it is funny that this is like the way. But I also think that.
You think it's going to bite him in the ass?
Here's what I'm going to say. I think okay. People are going to get mad. There is a thing that I see a lot in young gay men. And I had this exact experience as well. Where I had a period of time where I was like, gay men are so sexualized. And I'm not like that, okay? I'm not like those girlies. I just want like a regular life, and I want to marry a man, and I want to have kids, and I want the white picket fence, and I want to be super heteronormative. Because at the end of the day, guess what?
I hate myself for being gay.
Ding, ding,
That's
ding,
why.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's almost like a series of stages of grief. Mm-hmm. But like for the coming out process where you have to like get to like who you really are, because we don't get to like actually figure out who we are until we process that like it's okay to be honest and come out. Yes. And then start that process. So everything that normal people do from like the ages of 12 to like 20, we do whenever that process starts for us.
Happens. So and that can happen as early as like, yeah, if you come out early, or if you're like a late bloomer.
Because like I came out when I was 14, so I feel like I got a lot of it done in high school, which was very lucky for me. So like by the time I got to college, I kind of had an idea. The last thing I had to do was like figure out how to like have sex with every person possible, which I did do. I know of other people who came out later and then had to, or not had to, but I think did go through the like,
oh shit, I'm going through
I don't like drag queens because like if they just want to be women, just be women. Like
yes, it's that like I'm not like most gays. I'm a gay who appreciates blah 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 blah, and it's like,
and you see this all the time on Twitter where it'll be like, I just don't understand why gays love like Lady Gaga so much, and it's like, okay, no one cares.
No one cares.
I don't like watching RuPaul's Drag Race. Congratulations. Half of the reason gays love the same thing is because it helps foster community. Because you have a similar,
because we all have shared
interests.
trauma that we're not allowed to have that community.
Right. And so you just like find things that you can all agree on are like good or whatever, or at least you have an opinion on. It doesn't have to then be your personality, because that's when it feels like you are like, I'm just like so different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I just don't have the energy for making something I don't like my personality. If it's something I don't like, I just don't waste any time or energy on it. Mm-hmm. Because I don't like it.
Because Mama, I can't name you a single Kylie Minogue song. And to a lot of gay people,
shame.
That is an absolute crime. And you know what? It's okay. I just have no opinion. And that's fine.
Yeah. Can't get you out of my head. It's iconic, girly.
I don't care about Madonna. And for a lot of older gays, that would be like an absolute. You don't care.
Yeah.
I think there are gays who are Swifties. I would not say she is a
gay icon.
A gay icon.
No. I think like Kim Petras, like more of like
Carly Rae.
For
sure.
Yeah. It's just the show is so gay that it's kind of
show is so
unlocking a lot of gay topics that
gay tops.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. So there is this bit of animosity. It feels like
you just get a vibe that Miss Boston does not like Miss Top being so close. I would say
not the whole group. I think Choom is like very excited for Mew. But Ray,
okay, there's two dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Ray and Boston. Ray feels like, I think you're going to do him bad. Like, you're going to, like...
I don't trust you.
You're going to hurt my friend.
Yeah.
And Boston...
What's going on?
Because it's really unclear.
It's very purposefully unclear.
Purposefully unclear.
Is it? Okay, here are the options. Let's talk about the options. The options are...
Because he has a confrontation in the bathroom. They urinate together. Him and Top.
And then even more crazy is Boston together.
Puts his hands and washes his hands together. I mean, it's truly just like a territory. Territorial.
This is chaos.
It's so territorial.
This is chaos. Twinkage, Wanda.
These are the theorems.
Here are the theorems. Hypotenuse.
Boston wants to be the one to take Mew's virginity.
Okay. Yes. Boston won. Okay. Yes. Here's theorem one. Boston is in love with Mew. And as part of that,
wants to.
Actually, no, I'm going to separate into two.
Okay. Love.
Boston's in love with Mew.
And he doesn't know how to process it.
Correct.
Because
he only sees himself as being able, whatever.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a second too.
Number two,
he wants to
take his virginity.
He wants to conquer
Mew.
Dangerous.
Not a friend.
Number three, he wants to be with Top.
In love or just be with him?
In any capacity.
He wants Top.
Because Top is top tier.
Top is top tier.
That's the summit of Mount Everest, honey.
And he even says, "Well, like I said, Boston, one time was enough. Did you not think that was correct?"
Okay. So this leads me back to my Top question. Boston and Top hooked up. One can assume with Boston's fervor that they had penetrative sex.
Yes. Definitely bottom for Top.
Uh-huh.
Which makes Boston, with this whole idea that, like, he uses sex.
To escape.
To whatever. He is so voracious about sex.
What do you think of the three options is the one that is true? At this point, what we know so far.
I think at this point, after this bathroom scene, he wants to be at the top with Top.
Here's what I think it is. Why are you choosing Mew?
And not
me.
He can't believe that someone like him who is like attractive and can like have anyone he wants, like physically desire, be desired by anyone, would choose someone who is not interested in the one thing that Boston is like good at. Like, why is he choosing someone that is like
Boston is like sex is my defining characteristic. Boston is Blanche Devereaux. The episode where Blanche Devereaux stops having sex and starts making popsicle
earrings for you. Popsicle stick earrings. Yeah.
Because he has all of this, like, my value is my sex drive. Because he has, I would say, reduced himself to that instead of seeing himself as being like, this is one aspect of my...
That's the difference between Boston and Top. Because Top sees that he is the top tier. So he has more than just that. Boston, yes, has fully derived.
Has not gotten to the place where he's like, oh, I'm also more than just
this.
A pole.
Because that's the thing, like...
Of course he is.
Of course he is. Of course, you can be proud of being good at sex. That is like absolutely fine to do, but he is... It's not that he sees himself as like, this is something that I do. It's he's reduced himself that this is the only thing that I can do.
He's placed all his value in his sex appeal. And Top has rejected him even after they had sex.
Yeah.
And
he can't fathom the fact.
He has chosen someone who to Boston has no sex appeal. And it's funny when it's not everything is like within the friend group, outside the friend group, when we are all performing our roles in the bar. When Mew is just the one who sits at the table,
make sure there's a table.
And make sure nobody touches the drinks. Okay, it's fine. But now we have somebody who's coming in and trying to disrupt that. And not only that, but it's someone that I've fucked.
That didn't want me.
Girl. Floppy out of Moxiata.
Guys, this is what being gay is like.
And I hate to say it, it's not for the weak.
It's not for the weak. Welcome to gay life. I mean, you said in the reaction that like you got him projecting.
Honey, what is this, a Dolby Theater? Because mama, she's projecting. Okay. Ray and Sand make up. Ray says, I talked to Yo, and Yo vouches for your like character. So I don't believe you did anything wrong.
So I'm sorry.
Thank
you for taking care of me.
And Sand is like, you had to check with Yo to make sure that I was actually telling the truth. You chaeball ass.
Yeah. So they kind of like end in like a fine. Let's bygones be bygones.
Yeah.
Let's have a truce. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where that goes because they're both very cute together.
I know.
I like them a lot.
This is definitely the most rom-com. I mean, it's enemies to lovers. So what does Top do? Grab the microphone, just like we have today.
This is pretty privileged.
This is pretty privileged because
no one stops him.
And if I was in that bar, I'd be like, shut up.
Yeah.
So why did you stop the music?
There is something, the only thing I will say about this, I think this is cute.
It's sweet, yeah.
The only thing is that there's something about like asking to be someone's boyfriend that feels very juvenile. And I understand that my experience with dating in the adult world is very different from most people because I literally haven't done it since 2013. So I understand that, whatever, but there's something about being like, can I be a boyfriend?
Yeah.
That is a little like, is that how people do it? I understand that this is like heightened.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. Great app.
Who's your MVP?
Oh my God. I do have one. I'm curious if you're going to say the same one.
I think I do have one too. I do have one too.
On the count of 3. Oh. Are we saying character name?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Boston.
Yeah. We just spent like half half of this 1 hour video talking about how like intricate his like
he's playing with a lot. He's playing with a lot.
Playing with so much.
Yeah, and he's doing really well.
And he's doing really good because you can see there's something there, but you can't figure it out, which I think makes a better performance. The scene that
solidifies it is that bathroom scene.
The bathroom scene.
There's like a hurt behind his eyes.
But I know.
It's really good.
It's really good.
It's really good. Yeah.
The other person that I was going to bring up was Nick, because I think he just does a great job in showing Boston an equal that I don't think
he's matching
Boston like expected at all. And it makes their scenes so interesting.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to catch feelings. And I think Boston...
I think that's going to be
then I think Boston then it has to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, I think Ray and Sand are going to be pretty straightforward rom-com.
I think so too.
I think Mew Top is going to be... There's going to be a reckoning about sex at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to wait until the end of the show to have Mew lose his virginity. Because I feel like it would be like the end of Act 2, and then it's going to be the repercussions of
was it actually?
Yeah.
Should we have?
I also am curious if is there going to be like cheating or like nobody's officially. I mean, Mew and Top are officially dating, but like nobody else is really dating yet, so I don't know. But like, I also can see something like it got.
So that car scene that I've seen gifs of. That's Top in Boston, but I don't know if that's past.
Is that a flashback
or current? I don't know if that's the one time they hooked up, or
that's right. I forgot about that.
Or do they cheat, or does Top cheat? Cheat or maybe they break up and then something happens. I don't know.
Interesting.
What was your MVP hookup of this episode? I mean, it's Drake getting dick down. I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
I would say for me...
Also, the Boston Nick was really...
It's the Boston Nick, probably. Yeah. Because, first of all, I want to say top Mew was so hot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it doesn't like finish. It doesn't resolve. Boston Nick is so... It's a porn scene.
It's absolutely. The whole setup is made.
You have to pay me like that. It's like the pizza boy comes over and we don't have money to pay him. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
But there's something.
It's the site. The site we're talking about.
Oh well.
That does like plots. The site.
Part of the exciting part is that it's like secret and forbidden.
Yes.
And as soon as you bring it out into light, guess what? It's not exciting anymore because. That's half the fun.
Part, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, you're right. I think it is Boston Nick, but shout out to my boy Drake.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm sure.
I liked the I thought it actually did like the parallel. Pairing, yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So I'm sure Min helped him a lot prepare for that scene. Thank you so much for watching OnlyFriends. I'm so excited to be talking about the show, and we'll see you next week.
You're sick. You're a sick person. You know that?